Good evening, everyone. My name is Ron Gagosian. I am your host this evening. I am delighted that you are with me, and we're going to spend a little time today talking about the X39 patch, what it is, where it came from, who did it come from, how did it land on planet Earth, and all of that. So let's just take a quick moment and let you know that this time is not about hype. This is about alignment. I didn't get dressed up for you tonight. I wore a nice t-shirt, but I didn't get totally dressed up for you tonight because I want to keep this real, as if we are in my living room or we're in your living room, we're having a cup of coffee or something where we're having a chat. And that's really, really important for me to know that we just have a quiet moment together to tell you about something that I am completely excited about. And when I say excited, it oozes from me. And I really believe that I'm onto something big here. And this is it. This is really the kind of alignment and the health and wellness intersection, if you will, has come into play. It's created that north and south, that east and west type of moment. So again, let me just tell you again who I am. I'm Ron Gagosian, and I have I'm not in the health and wellness industry, although I am part of the LifeWave group of brand partners. But tonight is not about that. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the science, and we're going to talk specifically about the business opportunities. And if you are here today or tonight or whatever time zone you are watching from, I really want to be able to sort of open the shades, open the windows, open the doors. And for those of you that at this point are getting a little, what is he talking about? Why am I here? And all of that. Let me tell you exactly why I'm here tonight. And we'll see if that is in alignment with you. I'm here because I am actually interviewing for high capacity individuals that have a sense of alignment with where they're going and who feel a sense of great urgency and who have a spirit of movement, that somehow you've come to a place in your life and you're saying things have got to change. I need some other level of either excitement in my life. I need to have a different kind of community that I'm involved in, and I really want to be around like-minded people. I'm currently reading a book, and it's called The Diary of a CEO by Steve Bartlett. He has a really incredible podcast. And I believe it's chapter 28, if I remember correctly, it's either that or 29, he talks about creating a cult-like mentality. Now, I don't particularly like that term because there's something evil and sinister about it. But the issue that I really like to call it is really a tribe mentality. And he goes on to quote Steve Jobs, who was one of the founders with Steve Wozniak of Apple. And in a lot of interviews in his book, and if you read his autobiography, you read his biography, excuse me, it's also stated in there that he actually believed that if you had 5 to 10 people that were actually smarter than you in your organization, you hired them, you brought them into your business, they would actually be the key pillar components that drove your business to that level of success. He was that, if you really want to call it, that fanatical about it with a lot of his other quirks. But the bottom line is, bless his heart, that this is what made that company incredibly successful 25 years ago as they made that ascent up into their market capitalization to now. You know, I would think that if this point in time, the US government maybe needed some cash, they could go to Apple and ask them to write a check, because they have probably more cash on hand than the US government. Anyway, the bottom line here is that I'm speaking to people who have, and if you're not one of those people, then, you know, we could just say goodbye at this point in time. But if you're in a particular place where you want to experience dynamic leadership from proven individuals who are making very, very serious money, I'm not here to talk about what income potentials. I'm not here about the kind of lifestyle that you could live. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm strictly wanting to talk about briefly, the product, as you see right here. And then I want to talk about the whole business opportunity. And then I want to see along the way that I want you to reach out to me. I want you to say, hey, Ron, I'm interested. I kind of resonate with what you say. I really resonated with you were talking about. And I want to know more about it. Thank you for sharing. And what you were telling me is something I'd like to hear more about. If it's not something you don't want to hear about, don't bother calling me. Don't bother texting me. Don't bother emailing me. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. I am particularly looking at this point for high capacity individuals who actually have a vision over a 5-year plus period for their life to dramatically change their life at a physical level, at a financial level, an emotional level, and at a community level of being with like-minded people, because they have moved beyond the typical bread and butter of everyday work, of what we need to do to put food on the table, what we need to do to pay our rent, make our car payments, what have you, or just to go and get a cup of coffee and a cheeseburger. I mean, those are the kinds of things. If you've been out talking to friends, family these days, I'm sure that if you're in California, you know, if you live in Texas, it might be a different story. But in California, you're paying close to anywhere between $4.50 and $5 a gallon just for premium unleaded. And if you've been to the grocery store lately, that's been a bit of a problem. So without the risk of politics, there is an economic component here. And so I want to speak specifically now about, now that we have all sort of come to the place that we're all like-minded at this point, I would hope and pray that those of us who didn't want to be here or just felt that this isn't for me, you've left. But this is for those that I want to speak directly to. And I'm going to look up and look into the camera. And so I want to preface a little bit before I really get started. I'm not here to hype. I do not do hype. You can go to my website at gagosiangroup.com, which I think is a pretty interesting picture of me from a corporate standpoint. My background has been in consumer and commercial and corporate banking, business system sales, technology. I've worked for Bank of America. I've worked for the old Bank of America, the old Silicon Valley Bank in the Silicon Valley, and the numerous other financial institutions. Currently have my own party or a dinner party. What do you do? And I would tell you, I'm a serial entrepreneur at this point in time. And you'd say, well, what does that mean? And I would say, well, one of the things that's completely occupying my time, is completely fascinating to me, is I'm in a particular line of work that is activating stem cells. Everybody on this planet needs, in fact, even the animal kingdom, not just human beings, but for us, we're going to talk about stem cells. Stem cells are the building blocks, other than your DNA, that make us walk and talk and move and are healthy. And when we become unhealthy, our bodies let us know. We have trouble getting up out of the chair. We can't run that mile under, X minute of time. We can't swim that extra 30 meters in the swimming pool. We can't play that extra 9 holes of golf. It may be you're a young person who's not really interested and says, Ron, I'm 25 years old. I'm starting to think about my aging process, but I'm still very young. And it's really about me wanting to make money and having energy. That makes more sense than just sitting around saying, wow, we have the opportunity to take advantage of age reversal. Well, to a 65-year-old, that may be something that's very important. To a 25-year-old, it's about making money, lifestyle, who I'm going to live with, who I'm not going to live with, and where I'm going to get dinner, possibly some cocktails, and have a community, have a social life. So from that particular end, let's keep that science over here and let's talk about what X39 is. X39 is a medical grade 3M patch. And in the core of it is nothing more than non-transdermal product. And it's nothing more than organic salts and amino acids. And that is put on your body virtually anywhere if you'd like, on places that hurt or don't hurt. I make no claims, medical claims at this point, nor financial claims about the amount of income or the kind of physical response that I may predict that this patch may or may not have. So with that being said, and the legal department satisfied, I am going to tell you that I became interested in this because I was 65 years old. I know I don't look like it. Just teasing. I was 65 years old and I'm sitting in a natural health practitioner's office in Auckland, New Zealand. And so she tested me with her bioresonance machine, these 2 metal prongs. And you probably, if you go to some concierge doctors, you can hold onto them in their outer offices and it weighs you. It takes your blood pressure. It'll take your BMI. It takes a lot of other electronic, and it's essentially sending electrical impulses through your body. It recognizes it, and then it can tell you. And in my case, my biological age at the age of 65 was 80. So that put me on a journey to say, you know what, something isn't right here. So I was very much into health and nutrition, and it cleaned up my act even more with what I was consuming and some of the riskier type of habits that people have or can get into. And no judgment, but I'm just saying each of us as an adult need to make some decisions in life. And so I made some decisions to begin to curtail some of that and a lot of it. And over a year ago, I went and took blood tests, standardized biological markers that were out of 105 biomarkers. One of those biomarkers gave me, there were many, from heart to autoimmune to nutrition to vitamins, many, many different categories. But it was specifically about my biological age. And that's what I was most curious about. So at the age of 67, almost a year ago, this coming holiday season in 2024, I had those 105 over a 2-week period. And my biomarker for my biological age at the age of 67, I know that's hard for me to say sometimes, but it came out, believe it or not, and I can show it to you. I can prove it to you. I can send you snapshots of the indicator, 62.7. So from a time of wearing the LifeWave patch for roughly 2 years, being on that patch, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, my testimonial, I reversed my age from biological age from 80 backwards down the timeline to 62.7. I have more energy now than I had when I was 40 years old, but that's my story. Now, from a health and wellness standpoint, we all need to make decisions. Let's move now to the business side of things. So we have my story. There's many other stories. For the men that are on this call, I have heard up until today, I heard someone who is a massive LifeWave leader out of Miami Beach. They were having issues in the middle of the night, needing to make the call, so to speak. Most men will know what you're talking about. And so that stopped. That was his story. My story, immediately the next day, on the first day, the 12-hour cycle that I wore that patch, I took it off 12 hours, went to bed, slept. I hadn't slept a perfect night in years. First night. So that was my immediate aha to the LifeWave product. Now, again, X39. But what about you have an idea that you want a business opportunity? A business opportunity, bar none. A business opportunity that allows you to make an investment and have potentially, and I like to say it this way, this isn't a 90-day run. This isn't wealth in 6 months. This is a 5-year run. So if you're younger in your, some of the people that are watching, you can plan this into the current work you're doing, and you can plan for your legacy. Now, if you went to Hamburger University, you would have to, say, if McDonald's or whatever the fast food organization is, you have to pay a franchise fee for up to anywhere between $250,000 to $500,000, and depending on the size, could even be up to $1 million. And I don't want to pick on fast food. I mean, it could be Jiffy Lube. It could be many other types of non-food industry types of franchises. It could be accounting. I mean, there's a lot of different franchises out there. Not only that, but you have to go to if you're in the hamburger industry, hamburger business, you have to go to Hamburger University. And just to break even, say if you invested $250,000 to $500,000 on up to $1 million, it would take, just to break even, from a business standpoint, 5 years. So I like to calibrate this, that this is not a short-term type of in-out type of business. This is a business that you see yourself creating a legacy, serious legacy income over time, that for the amount of investment, depending on the package that suits you financially, whatever that might be, whether you want to start at a customer level or you want to start at a serious brand partner, which is on the other side of the spectrum, you get that opportunity to sink in, to nail down, to sink a heavy anchor into your financial future. And if there are younger folks, and I'm going to say younger, I'm just going to say folks that are 25 years and older watching this, I would seriously consider, in today's world, given the gig economy, given other types of areas where you have to trade your time for cash, and be in an industry where you're trading your time, but it becomes a life calling because you're in a community of like-minded individuals and with incredible leadership, you're actually creating a residual income. So, for instance, you have that hamburger business. Well, you've invested $250,000 to $500,000. With LifeWave, you have the opportunity to have your customers pay for your initial investment once you immediately get started as a serious brand partner. It will pay for itself monthly. So the more people that you actually build your organization with, and the LifeWave compensation is amazing. Up until the end of last month in October, we had the original compensation program. LifeWave knew, being a leader and the fastest growth direct selling company in the world, David Schmidt, the CEO and founder, said, we can't have an outdated compensation plan for our field if we're now moving into, the year 2026. It has to reflect the kind of stable level of business that produces income, it produces retention, it produces a book of business, really. If you've been in sales, we all talk about sales and we talk about a book of business, whether you're in auto sales, you're in corporate type of sales, everybody has a book of business. And pardon me, I've got something in my eye. That book of business translates to residual legacy income. If you're in a life insurance company and you've been selling for and successful for many, many, many years, if you leave the company, you lose your book of business. You don't get to take that with you because it ends when you leave. So you're with them forever, pretty much. With LifeWave, no one takes that away from you. The only way it gets taken away from you is by cause, but we're not going to go there. The bottom line is that LifeWave is an extremely integrous company. It has been noted. It is FDA compliant. This product is not FDA approved. And the reason for that, if that's been something that's been circling in your mind, it's because it's not something you put in your mouth and it's not something that you put in your body. It's something that you put on your body, and all it does is reflect your 98.6 back into your body as light, infrared light, like the sun. And so that light then activates the GHKCU, which is a hormone that tells from your brain, that tells the stem cells, that goes and it talks to them in the mitochondrial area and gives them the key, or puts the key in the ignition and restarts them. So it gives them the metabolic energy to wake up. And that's really the best way that I can say that. And again, I don't practice medicine, but in terms of coming back full circle with the people that I'm looking at for business building, I really want to speak to you. If you are very serious about being with the #1 fastest growing private company in the world, I make no claims, but it is proven. Direct Selling Magazine noted and awarded LifeWave as the #1 fastest growing company in the year 2023, 2024, and we'll see about 2025. From a business standpoint, when the X39 product came about with LifeWave about 20 years ago, and up until 3.5 years ago, LifeWave was a $20 million revenue company. Today, it's approaching $700 to $800 million revenue company. Incredible growth. That growth chart is like this. So what does that mean? You're with the fastest growing, most compensated, over 9 particular ways now to earn income. And this continues for your life. It's also an asset, if you're looking at it from a personal financial standpoint, of an asset in your asset column on your personal balance sheet. Why? Because it's something you can pass down. You can give this or will it, however you want, in your trust affairs or your will in your estate affairs. you can actually pass this down, and your children or whomever you bequeath it to will receive that level of ongoing legacy income into perpetuity, as long as you've got a pretty strong level of business. And for the high income earners at LifeWave, this is amazing. They can hand themselves a package of for their hard work, and then they can hand that package to their children or to whom they love, their loved ones, and provide them lifetime income. So if you'd like to speak more, if this has piqued your interest, and if you are a high capacity individual, please contact me at ron@gagosiangroup.com. You can reach out to me at gagosiangroup.com at the website, and we think it's a pretty fabulous website. You'll then click down and go to, you can review this webinar. If you want to watch it again, it'll be up on YouTube probably tomorrow in the later afternoon, once my staff has a chance to edit and go through it and take care of some housekeeping issues. There always are housekeeping issues that have to go on in the editing process. It's normal, but that's normal. But from the overall standpoint, please reach out. There's an interactive in that website. You can actually take an AI-based, it's linked up. You put in your name, you put in your telephone number, or with a country code, of course, or your email address, and it will walk you through an entire AI-generated, very polite, very nice. It'll walk it through with you and let you make your decision on your own. You don't really need me. I mean, you could. That's a nice to have, I would like, but I'd like to think so. But from that overall perspective, we have created an incredible dynamic business platform that is cutting edge. I know that term is used a lot, but it really is. You have to go experience the LifeWave experience. Go to lifewave.com. They have some incredible, beautiful videos that are so well done. You can also experience that at gagosiangroup.com in the LifeWave section. So for those that I've been able to pique some interest and you have some questions, I'm more than available to speak with you, to be with you. And again, this is not hype. I am actually living within an incredible community of like-minded people who are generous of heart, who've mastered the genius of generosity. And I would absolutely love to be able to share that with you all, and to be partnered with you, and for you to become part of the LifeWave family. So for now, again, thank you. I'm just delighted that you came to spend, even if it's a few moments. If you're watching this in the long version or you're watching this in the short, enjoy and reach out should you have any questions. We would love to chat with you, and we'll go from there. So for now, I'm just going to say good night, so long, good day, be blessed.